This is Carol Roy with Virtual Strategy Magazine, live on the floor at VMworld 2009. I'm visiting with Asigra, and in front of the camera at this very moment we have Eran Farajun, who is the Executive Vice President. How are you, Eran?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. You guys have quite the big booth. Can't miss it here on the floor. I'm excited to be with you and talk a little bit about your vCloud initiative. Can you tell our viewers a little about it?
Sure. So Asigra's association with the vCloud initiative is around cloud backup and recovery. What that means is our technology enables enterprise customers, small, medium businesses, and mid-market companies to either create private clouds or protect their data into a public cloud, multi-tenanted, with a service provider that they know and trust, or do a hybrid, which is a little bit of both, in the sense of keeping some data locally, some data offsite at a service provider, and really leveraging their cloud investments and skill sets that they've already developed over the last year, 2 or 3 years, as they've put more virtualization solutions into their environments.
So the conversation that we've been having, Eran, before I turned the camera on, we talked a little bit about why it's important to have cloud backup. Let's reiterate a little.
All right. So one of the main reasons why you want to have cloud backup is so that you are able to leverage the data mobility, data portability, and not get kind of locked in or cornered into a specific vendor's backup service. So why don't you want that? Because you want to maintain that flexibility and control over your environment. If you don't like one service provider that you're working with, you want to be able to move to a different service provider. If you don't like any service providers, you want to be able to bring something back in-house. If you're not comfortable yet in your adoption and business computing model to work with any service providers, you can start off with a private cloud and run Asigra's technology internally within your environment. And then one day, a year, 2 years, 6 months down the road, whenever you're ready to graduate into beginning to use and comfortable in your corporation with public clouds and service providers, you can then easily, move some of your data, all of your data, or to the extent that you feel it, you're comfortable with, without giving up the security and the control, that you're used to in the physical world, or when you're running purely as a private organization. So
that segues nicely into what I wanted to talk about next, which is cloud security, because you do hear that that's a big concern. Also the compliance factor. So does Asigra have any limitations as to where it can play? Is it transparent? Tell us about how you fit into that landscape.
Right, so it is very transparent. In terms of limitations, it really comes down to the customer's comfort level with using cloud technologies. There's a lot of security that's built into Asigra's technology. It is FIPS 140 certified, and customers can go online and check out the certificates. It's not enough for us to tell them, they need to hear it from a credible source. And so that's why we did those certifications. There's encryption key, there's encryption key management systems. The technology also is used in conjunction with the existing security processes and mechanisms that customers have, so they don't have to change what they're already doing from a security perspective. We also have specific ports assigned to us through IANA, so that's an important element to look for when you're dealing with security. Does the vendor that you're working with, are there specific ports assigned to them, or do they create overlap with other ports for other vendors? So these are some of the things to look out for. You also want to begin to see what other vendors and what other partners that the company that you're investigating and doing due diligence on is working with, and just to give yourself a comfort level that you're not the first guinea pig, or that you haven't been doing that. So in our case, we've been around for 23 years, and we have big Global 2000 customers and well-known branded partners that are in the market that are working with our technology, from SunGard, Hewlett-Packard, CDW, and other very well-known brands, as well as hundreds of others in the marketplace.
So Eran, when people do find you here on the VMworld floor, because you definitely can't miss it, lots of signage,
Yeah.
great looking, what are they going to hear from you guys? What are they going to see here at the booth?
I think what the biggest takeaway they're going to have is you can finally begin to take some backup and restore processes and run them in your virtualized infrastructure. So in your cloud, some people are calling that. So what's the big deal with that? Well, there's a lot of vendors saying, oh, here's some really cool technology to protect your virtual machines. This is really the right way how to protect them. Our message is, yes, we have that. It's agentless. You don't need to put agents on those. You can do the same vendor for physical and virtual environments, and that's a really nice. But our message is, in addition to that, it's something even more important and powerful, which is you can now take what historically has been very tightly coupled software. Traditional backup software has always been very tightly coupled with the hardware and the servers and the storage that it's been working with, like your media servers and your backup servers and your agents has been very tightly coupled to the hardware they're running on. You can now begin to abstract that and run them in your virtual infrastructure, whether it's VMware or Zen or Hyper-V or others, and begin to abstract those layers to get the true benefits of virtualized servers, so that you can move that infrastructure around in your environment, in your partner's environment, and so on. And I think that's the big thing that they're going to hear from Asigra now, and that's allows them to get their ROI that they've invested in the last few years.
Well, Eran, thanks so much for spending some time with Virtual Strategy Magazine. Good luck the rest of the week at VMworld.
Thanks for having me and the opportunity to speak to you and your readership.